The One Percenter Podcast with Sam Bakhtiar, bringing you the 1% knowledge to help you reach your full potential. Learn what it takes to rise above the 99% and become a 1%er.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the One Percenter Podcast. This is your host, Sam Bakhtiar, and I'm here with my favorite boss babe of all time, Jeanette Fuentes is in the house.
Thank you so much, Sam.
How are you?
I am so good and very happy to be here with you.
Well, I'm so proud of you, not only for what you have accomplished in the real estate and building an empire with your husband, but also what you're doing these days with empowering women. And that to me is so much needed in this day and age where even though everybody says, hey, we're equal, a lot of women feel like, they're not equal in the workplace, and it's a man's, game out there in the business world and in the entrepreneurship world. But you're doing it, jointly with yourself, but also jointly with your husband, building an empire together.
Totally.
So I want to, talk about that, what you're doing and how you're doing it with your husband, and how you're able to actually get along working together.
Oh my gosh, that's a great chapter to talk about.
But let's go all the way back first.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where were you born? Tell me about how you even began to get this kind of work ethic, began the entrepreneurship, journey and all that. Because I know you weren't born in the States.
No, I was born in Guadalajara, Mexico, where we're known by the tequila.
Okay.
Just so you know, mariachi. And back in those times, my parents always wanted to own their own business, whatever it was. If it was a little grocery store, they actually converted our garage into a grocery store. They had other grocery stores, taco stands, but they said this is the only way to do it and to do better in life. They always showed me they wanted to do more. Even in Mexico, they had me in private school. So I always saw that for them, it was really important for us to have a better life. We get here, same thing. Back then, I think they were at $3.75 was a minimum wage. Can you believe that?
I can believe it
gosh.
I work for $3.35, so I believe it. I work at $3.35 at a cheese factory, so I do believe it.
Can you? Oh my gosh! So then I will listen to those conversations, and my dad's saying we're not going to get anywhere with $3.75. A year and a half from being in this country, they bought their home in Chino Hills.
Wait a second.
A year and a half from being in this country.
Okay, so let me go back because there's a lot.
That shows you a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like confused because that's so much. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So at a very early age, you knew that your mom and dad were entrepreneurs.
Yes.
They probably had jobs, but they also had a business.
Yes.
So not only they worked, but they also had a side hustle. They started a side hustle as a business.
Yes.
They sold something, some kind of business. So at a very young age, you knew that for you to become more, you have to become an entrepreneur, own your own business. You can't just get rich working for somebody the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Okay, so that was like,
totally.
you were shown that without being shown that.
Yes, with the actions.
Yes, with the actions.
And I think it's huge for our kids to see that. You can't just say, do this, don't do that. They have to see the actions.
Yeah, we were talking off camera about that, how our kids see what we're doing, and now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're asking about it.
Yeah.
And they want to, and that's so cool.
They want to own a gym.
Yes, right.
Haley.
Yes, they want to own a gym. They want to do all these kind of crazy things.
That is so true.
So at what age did you guys packed up and come to America?
So I was 11 years old at that time. I went to private school then, and I think environment matters so much, Sam, because I was so lucky then. We were middle class in Mexico. We were not, we owned our home there. They sold the house. They did have some money that they brought here to the United States. And for me,
okay, just really quick, because I know Christian came here legally.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because his dad worked for an American company and all that. Did you come here legally or illegally?
It's like depends how you want to see it. Because my parents.
I hope the feds are not watching this right now.
I'm legal now.
You're good now.
Okay. So it depends how you want to see it. I had this debate with Christian because.
Why? Did you get mad and call you illegal?
No.
Because I would.
Yeah, because we both saying were you legal, were you not legal. So for us, my parents said we were going to Disneyland.
Okay.
And so we had a passport.
Okay.
So we just never went back.
So you came here legally on a visa, you
Yes.
know what I mean? And then decided you want to extend the visa.
Yes.
Got it. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. No, right. I got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even then, I'm so proud of my parents, not knowing the language, not knowing how it works here, all of that stuff. And for them to do it, I just knew, what will be my excuse?
Yeah, I mean,
if they did what they did.
Yeah, when you see, our parents, and my mom, flew from a war-ridden country by herself, as a single mom, brought me here, and then for you, like almost like success becomes your duty and your obligation.
Yes.
Not, if they did that for you and you come here and be a bum ass,
Yes.
then you're almost disrespecting your whole family, everything that your mom and dad have done for you. So, for you coming here, you have to be like, hey, man, if they sacrifice all their comfort zone, because they could have just stayed in Mexico, have their own business,
Yeah.
They had a home, they had everything.
Yes.
So, they were very comfortable,
Yes.
but they came here to give you a better life or a better opportunity. And if you're not taking care of it and taking advantage of it, shame on you.
Shame on me.
Yeah.
They wanted more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I totally believe in, if your parents were able to do this, you need to step it up. You need to do 10 things more.
It's
Why
funny.
not?
It's ever since I've known you, you always wanted more.
Yeah, I
you've
always
always been very happy. You're satisfied with where you are, but that doesn't, restrict you from wanting more and wanting to do more.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't understand the difference. A lot of people say, you know what, I always have to be mad and want more, and I want to push more, and so I'm not happy where I'm at right now, and I want to just go for more. And they walk around with a permanent,
Yes.
Permanent sad face or permanent, ugly face all the time.
Yep.
Where you're satisfied with where you are right now, you're happy where you are right now, but that doesn't mean you're not gonna, do more. So
Yes.
you're happy, but yet you want more. So what I've learned from you over the years that is very, very important and a huge lesson for entrepreneurs out there, that you can be what Ed Milet calls it, blissfully dissatisfied. You're blessed. Tim Story says, thank God. Thank God. I'm not. What did he say? He says, I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I'm not where I used to be. That's what Tim says, our
Yes.
pastor.
Yes,
right?
totally.
And I wholeheartedly believe that. For years, I was that guy who was walking around with a chip on his shoulder, even though I had the mansion and the cars, and I was making a lot of money. And now I'm like, why am I walking around with a chip on my shoulder? I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm not where I want to be.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to be where I want to be.
Yes.
But I have to be happy along the way. I'm not in my old country getting bombed on every day.
Exactly. So we also have to enjoy the moment,
Yes.
the journey,
Yes.
and be proud of yourself. You know what I
Yes.
mean? But for me, growth and wanting more is because I want to grow as a person. I want to grow as a woman. I want to show my kids and my next generations. I think of my grandkids. I am so grateful, and I say thank you to God all the time.
Yeah.
And for me, wanting more is for my future generations. I don't want it to go, and it's not about the money only. Money's nice.
Yeah.
Right? It gives us a lot of things, but it's also to push you, your limits, your limitations, things, breaking chains of your family, breaking chains of things that were, part of it, negativity, different things that are destructive, I will say.
One thing I know about you and Christian is that you guys are philanthropists. I mean, you give so much money to also charities like Shriners Hospital, and you do so much in the community,
Yes.
for people. So money is not just, okay, hey, what cars and mansion and all that kind of stuff I can get. Those are the bonuses of that. But you also do a lot for the community. Money gives you the ability to do stuff for other people and give back.
Isn't it such a win-win?
Yes.
I mean, there has to be more purpose than just being successful for
Yes,
yourself,
yeah.
just being successful for your family.
Yeah.
It's what is your purpose in this world?
Yeah.
Are you making a positive impact? And you're showing that to your kids as well.
Yeah.
And it's funny, when you were talking, I was thinking about this. I had an uncle that he also wanted always more. He wasn't a nice person. He was like the jerk of the family, but I will never forget this. When we got to this country, we stayed at his house for about, I think we only lasted 2 weeks.
Wow.
We were gonna stay there for 2 months, but my parents were like, let's get out of here.
Hell no.
Hell no.
Yeah.
I was 11 years old, and I said something about, oh, that's a lot of money. And then he slammed the table, and he's like, hey, little girl, come here. Come here. What's a lot of money for you? Be ashamed of yourself. How much is a lot of money for you? $20, $100, $1,000? This 11-year-old girl was like, holy shit. You know what? I was kind of embarrassed, but can you freaking believe that I always think about that?
Yeah.
What's a lot of money for you?
And that's so true. What's a lot of money for you? Money is a context. What's a lot of money for you is not a lot of money for Oprah. But,
Yes.
and what's a lot of, money for another person is not a lot of money for you.
Yes.
So, money is a context. When I think about, what I did 10 years ago, 15 years ago, which I thought it was a lot of money, right now I would be like, oh my God, like, that was embarrassing, or oh my God, I don't know how I was living like that.
Yes.
But it's good to still be humble enough to understand that other people's journey. I remember one time I felt so bad because we had a client in the gym came to me and said, Sam, I love your program, and it's awesome. I got great results, but I can't renew. I just don't have the money. I don't have the funds. And without thinking about it, I said, hey, it's $150 a month. It's $5 a day. You don't have that? I just looked at him in a kind of snotty, kind of like embarrassing way. I asked him, I'm like, you don't have $150 a month? It's $5 a day, you know? And he goes, I don't. I then I thought about it. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, not too many years ago, I didn't have an extra $150. So I told myself, Sam, check yourself, please. Awesome. Don't forget where you come from. Understand that everybody's journey is different.
That is awesome.
And sometimes we forget. Yes. I know I've forgotten, and I have to kind of check myself. When I look at something, I'm like, oh my God. That was, it's funny. We have a joke. We have an infinity. And we go somewhere, and a lot of times we're like, oh my God, we're taking an infinity. Oh gosh, And then we'll drive somewhere, and some people are like, oh, this is the nicest car I've ever seen, and it's literally our worst car. And then it brings in context that, wow, it's crazy, how you think of things and all that kind of stuff. And you always got to kind of ground yourself and humble yourself. So you came here at 11 years old, parents. Okay, what did your parents do? What school did you go to? Did you speak English?
So I thought I did.
you did Spanglish.
Yeah. That's what you did? Yeah, because I had an English class back in my town. But I got here, I'm like, what? I just knew how to say yes, very limited, And I was so embarrassed. It was embarrassment to make fun of. And at the same time, back then was not hot to be Latino or hot to speak your language. Yeah. So then I am kind of a rebel. And then I don't know. I don't know if you noticed that. So then supposedly I said, you know what? I'm not going to speak English. I'm just going to stick to Spanish. So for a while, I did not want to speak. I had ESL classes. I don't know if you know those classes. Oh, yeah, we know about those. And I had ESL classes, but I had honors on the rest, like math, science. Until one day, a counselor called me in, and I think I was a freshman or sophomore in high school. But all this time, I'm writing with my ESL. I'm like, I'm cool, which is bad, right? So then she calls me in, and she says, I think there's a problem with your academics here. She's like, do you not speak English? And I was like, not so much. She's like, you know what? You can't be having economics honors AP. You cannot have blah, 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 and you're getting A's in that.
You gotta understand English to get those A's.
Like, and then they pushed me to
take culture bluff.
Yes, you know what I mean? So for me, it was so tough. Back then, it was not hot to be a Latino.
Yeah. But you don't have as thick of an accent as your husband.
Oh, then I'm good.
Yeah, he's from Mexico City, right?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
So what did your parents do when they came to the United States?
My dad had about 3 jobs. He worked at, how do you call those places? Like they cut meat, but it's like a industry type of place, a wholesale.
Butcher?
Yeah. But so in the freezers, and then he'll go to a taqueria, which is a taco place restaurant. Imagine from the freezing to the cooking, chopping, and then he'll be a delivery pizza boy.
Wow.
3 things. He lost a lot of weight. We were renting, but imagine that. And my daddy at that time, he was just all in. I think he just thought, I brought him here, we're just gonna make this happen. And he had an issue of alcoholism, Sam. So I respect that my dad always went to work, regardless of his issues.
I think, and I don't want to stereotype, because I think that Latino and Latinos are some of the hardest working people that I know, and not only the hardest working people I know, some of the happiest people that I know. I really admire how the Latin culture, they're always happy. Yes. Whether they have things or not. I see them, come in and work hard jobs, but always smiling, always, doing that, which I wish my people, Persian people, do the same thing, because they're not like that at all, man. This is what Persians do. If they were like, had a high level job in their country, if they come here, they're like, well, that's beneath me. I'm just not going to work, because I'm not going to do that work because it's beneath me. But what I like about Latin culture, they're like, you know what? That was the past. I'm willing to start at 0 again to go up. Yes. Where a lot of people and a lot of other cultures won't do that. Exactly. And they start with 0, with a smile on their face, and they work hard and they move their way to the top. And I, I don't want to make excuses for your dad or anything else, but I mean, Jesus Christ, you bring your family to this country, you work 3 hard jobs at one time.
Yes.
You're going to need an outlet. You know, and I'm not saying alcoholism is the thing, but you need an outlet. You need an escape. So whether it's positives, whether it's negative, and unfortunately, a lot of Latino men, they start hitting the cerveza.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of in the blood. It's kind of the culture, right?
Totally. Instead of thinking of going to the gym.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now it's changed. I think. You know, back in the day, it was cerveza, right? Yeah. You know, and they had to have a coping mechanism.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know, if back then, if you don't know nothing about the gym or like that, your coping mechanism was let me have a couple of drinks.
Yes.
To be able to kind of ease myself and ease, the day, the pain that I'm going through and all the hardship that I'm going through.
Yes.
And then tell me how this evolved.
So then my parents said, you know what? And my mom, that's where she was pushing my dad. What can I do? I mean, she has three kids, right? So they said on the side, why don't we do like a taco stand? So they bought like a stand in East LA. And they're like, okay, let's do it because they're really good at cooking. So they did that on the weekends. I still have that little taco stand. It's in one of our properties. I don't know what to do with it.
You
it's in
gotta
a garage.
take a picture and send that to me.
It looks
please.
like a hot dog stand.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm so like, I don't know. I can't do anything with it. I'm just like keeping it in a garage.
No, dude, that's like a piece of your history. You can't sell that.
Right? So with that, my parents were able to buy their home, a nice home in Chino Hills. So they did that. They said, we're going to get some extra cash. So then me and my brothers at home chopping, helping with that. And then we went to, they put it in a corner in East LA. And then we had posters, tacos for 50 cents. So we had lines of people. Then they were able to buy a catering truck. And then they bought a second catering truck. And that's when they were able to buy a house in Chino Hills. So proud of them. I think it's like a 2,400 square feet home with a pool. And for me, that's huge.
That is huge. After how long in the United States?
Less than 2 years.
After less than 2 years, they had 2 delivery trucks.
Yes, the catering trucks.
So obviously your parents are not only good at working, they're also good at money management.
You know what? I could say they were good at making money, but not managing their money.
But I mean, they got to, for within 2 years they bought a home.
Yes.
So they're doing something right, no?
Yes.
But they were maximizing it.
They were maximizing it.
Yeah, they were maximizing it, right?
Yes,
Got it.
Yes.
They weren't like Christian blowing $700,000 on partying, back in the day.
They were like Christian. So who started helping my parents in making decisions with money?
Yeah.
Who was helping Christian?
Oh, we know. We already know. I need to call you as a financial advisor. You know what? I need you to talk to Crystal. Over here about spending money. Oh my God.
Yes.
So tell me, when did you guys open up the restaurant in Chino Hills?
Yeah. So then so I went to college. I'm very proud of that. And my parents at that time decided to divorce, and I was starting my career for journalism.
How old were you when your parents decided to divorce?
I think I was about 24, 23, I think.
How does that make you feel, your parents getting divorced after all these years of marriage? I want your thought about that. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing, my parents got divorced when I was 3. I pretty much never grew up without a father, so I didn't know any different. But when you grew up 24 years with your mom and dad being together,
yes,
and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shoot,
this
that's
is real.
Gone. You almost kind of start questioning, is anything else real? So
exactly,
that's what I would feel. So tell me, were you heartbroken? Why they get divorced? Is there, I don't know. It's kind of, to me, if I would have been a lot more devastated if I was in my 20s, my parents get divorced, than when I was 2, because I don't know, like I said, I didn't know any different.
Got it, yeah. It was such a mixed feelings. So my parents, they had a dysfunctional kind of marriage, always. So domestic violence and all that stuff. And since I was a little girl, I will see that. So it's a little different for me because...
Your dad would come home drunk from day work and kind of pissed off at the work. I get it.
You know what I mean?
I get it.
So, and then I was kind of the referee, that stuff, and I was 8, 9, 10. So for me, I will tell my mom, just divorce. This is not healthy. But I think my mom thought the opposite, like, what am I going to do? And it's not, people are going to think something's wrong with us, you know what I mean? So
people going to think is always the biggest hurdle of progress. You understand?
Yeah.
What are people going to think? And when you give a fuck about what people think is when you just literally are putting yourself on pause and you're not going to progress. So if you're watching this, man, what are people going to think? And that's what a lot of my culture, always think. what are people going to think? What are people going to think? I remember ever since I was a little kid, my mom said, oh, what are going to people think? What are people going to think? And then, they just all their life, they live in a facade,
Yes.
To look a certain way in front of people. Who gives a fuck? If you're not happy, if something is not working, the only person that can judge you is the man upstairs, and what you think about yourself is more important than what anybody else thinks about you.
Oh my gosh, Sam. So I learned that lesson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, who cares? I didn't know how to express it as a little girl,
Yeah.
but it's like, this is not happiness. This is not healthy. This is not right.
Yeah.
So like you said, whoever's listening out there, don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. You know if it's right or wrong. You know it in your heart. And who cares? Are people going to be there for you in the right times?
If somebody's paying your bills, then they got to say so.
Yes.
And even then, very little.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Just send me the check. So, for me, I have respect when people make a decision to divorce or not divorce. I just think that it's when it's too much going on, too much abuse, too much of this. I take pride in my marriage. Now I take it to the heart to make it work because I want a healthy marriage. But also, if it's not good, I will say you can't be unhappy with people.
No.
And it's not good for your children.
Yeah.
So sometimes I talk to women that are divorced and they say, I feel bad for my daughter, I feel bad for my son. And I say, I could give you my testimonial. If you were not happy, your kids are not happy. Even if you hide it, kids are so receptive to your body language. Yeah. They know that. I
had that, Jeanette. When I got divorced in 2014, I was devastated. I was really devastated, and I, because not coming from, both my parents being there, my dad wasn't there. Like I told you, I got divorced, I was 3, I never saw him again. I never wanted that for my children. So that was like a complex I had to make sure that no matter what, I don't get a divorce. That was my thing, and even though our marriage wasn't working, we weren't happy with each other, I would never pull that plug because I had that preconceived notion in my head that that I didn't want to I want my kids to have both parents. But when that was the biggest devastation that happened in my life, it became the best thing, because now I realize that it's so much better. Not only so much better for me, because then I was able to concentrate on business, be able to do what I'm doing now, and scale our business, and also for my kids to be in a loving home, love both their parents, and not have to see their parents fight with each other.
You see, so I honor that a lot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because it's for the kids, it's better to be separate if you're going to be healthy and have good relationships with them. So for me, at 23, 24, I felt it was a shock, and now I felt more responsibility. It was almost like, okay, it was coming for the longest time. So then I put a hold on my career on journalism. They get divorced, and then my mom says, all I know is how to do restaurants, cooking, and all that stuff.
And you were a pretty successful journalist, from what I hear. Tell me some of the stations that you worked for.
It was Estrella TV. I was doing the Spanish TV, and I worked for La Opinión newspaper. And I was just starting. I always, I had a big passion for that. I still do. And I would get awards in school and all that stuff. And Sam, when this happened, when my parents divorced and I decided to take a hold on my career, my bad thinking came to my mind, and I listened to it.
And what was
that?
You see,
Jeanette?
Yeah. Tell me about the thinking.
What were you thinking all this time? Straight A's? Coming from a dysfunctional family? You think you're worth it? You think you're gonna do something with yourself? You think you're gonna find a man that really cares for you?
All the negative self-talks are coming through, right?
I'm telling you.
Start doubting yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was mad at God. Yeah. I said, screw you, you don't work.
Yeah.
I was doing everything right. They say do this, do that. So then I gave up. And I went into a little whatever.
Little funk was as we call it, right?
Yes.
So you gave up and you just started working at the restaurant, helping your mom.
I said, I'm gonna help my mom.
Yeah.
How weird things are, I'm gonna help my mom. I'm still hanging out. I'm 23, 24. And friends of mine were making a lot of money. They're all in real estate. At that time, I was, the wrong man. I always tell Christian, one of the first men that I had a boyfriend, he forgot to tell me a little secret that he was married.
Holy shit. Wow.
But you know what, I think so. And then I was just like, you know what, I don't believe in men. They just think we're a piece of meat. I'm gonna hustle, I'm gonna do my thing. So I started being like a little feminist, you could say, like forget you. And
I don't need no man.
No man. And then, and wine me and dine me. I have options. I went into, that was that time. Yeah. Then I had a guy that proposed to me. I got engaged in 3 months. I said, I think this is the right thing to do.
The white guy?
How do you know about that?
I heard. I've done some of my research. I've done my research.
It was in that time. Wow, somebody told you, little bird.
I've done my research on you, Jeanette.
It was probably my restaurant client. Can you believe at that time, everything was going that way? And I was like, maybe I should say yes. I mean, people were getting married and, come from a Mexican family. I was one of the last ones to get married. All of that, and I did it to help my mom. Weird thing is that next door, how would I know that Christian? I will meet my husband.
So your restaurant was next to where he was working?
Yes,
and he came and asked for burritos without oil, from what I understand. He wanted clean burritos, right?
But
how you going to go to a Mexican restaurant and expect a healthy burrito?
And you're talking about a guy that was chunky back then.
I heard he was 200 pounds and he had glasses on.
Yes. Yeah. So, we became friends, really good friends.
So I got a problem with being friends with a woman and a man, you know what I mean? So
True.
Let's talk about friends because, my wife can't have friends that are males, you know what I mean? And I sure as hell, knowing that like I'm married to a Latina, I can't even, never mind, I can't even say that word.
Watch it.
You know what I mean? Gosh, man, so tell me, tell me your first impression of Christian. He comes to, tell me your whole thing, whole impression of him. You know what?
He was just, there was something about, he has this spark to him. Yeah. I just like, oh my gosh, he has something, and very confident and happy and calm, So, but I didn't think like, I was engaged at that time. Yeah. He's my customer. We were, conversations, being funny with each other. He will go for breakfast, lunch, and dinner a lot of the times. And at that time, my fiance had, he was a lender and a broker. He has his company. I'm starting to be in real estate. I said, I'm going to do it on the side. But then a curveball. I say, maybe I should work for the chunky guy because he's next door. And he was one of the top producing agents.
Work for the chunky guy. Oh my God. Did you get that? Christian, he called you chunky. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like, let me work for the hot guy. Let me work for that chunky guy that eats burritos morning, noon, and night. Yeah. Okay?
Can you believe it? So at that time, this guy said, I don't want you to work with him. I think there's something going on. I'm like, the chubby guy, come on. I will tell him.
Come on, man. I can't like the chunky guy. I got higher standards than the chunky guy. Come on.
Can you believe it, how things happened? So obviously that didn't work out. He was very possessive, and I thought it was maybe the thing to do, Everything was negative.
But now I bet you he's like, see, I was right. Something was going on the whole time.
Exactly.
I bet you looking back now, he'll be like, I knew it. I knew she was probably cheating on me the whole time.
And I was not. But you know what? The friend zone. You're right. I mean, at that time, I was not happy. I was not happy with my relationship. It was not meant to be. Yeah. So I don't. The friend card. I don't think. I don't think so.
You can say we were friends, but you can't pull that shit on me, man.
Right?
So let's be honest.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
No, totally.
So there was a spark of interest there, but got it.
Yeah.
So then I know he was in a relationship at the time.
Yes.
I think they broke up. And you kind of broke up, and then you guys started, becoming more of a friends.
Yeah, more than friends.
More than friends.
But I have to tell you that I changed my mindset then. Yeah. I think that's huge, and I like to share it now because I made a decision, and I actually was in my room, and I cried, like I teared and I cried, and I asked God for forgiveness. I said, I said, forget you.
Yeah, because you're like, you stop believing in God, and you were questioning His faith.
Yes. And I said, I'm so sorry. I was just bawling, Sam. This is the weirdest thing. And I said, I surrender. And please help me. Yeah. Please guide me to who you want me to talk to. Yeah. Who do you think is going to be the man of my life? Just guide me. Yeah. And the weirdest thing is that's when my life started to change, Sam. And then I got serious with Christian. We got together and all that stuff.
But he didn't tell you he was like, he was probably playing Mr. Big Baller, but he didn't tell you like he was in all kinds of debt and he was blowing his money.
Oh my gosh.
he was Mr. S-Class Mercedes, but his bank account was
rolling reds?
Yeah. So
he was whining and dining me.
I've been that guy. I mean, I'm not talking anything that he has and everything he has done, I've done that plus 10x.
Oh,
you know
wow.
what I mean? So I've been there, my friend.
Yeah.
I've been there, you know what I mean?
And I think it's our fault as the girls.
Yeah.
Because we get a little bit of, oh, wow. You know what I mean? You like that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was, I don't know if he told you, but, he will do the VIP tables or this and that. But when we got married,
He was like, I'm broke.
Besides that, I said, we're not gonna do VIP table. Like, we don't have any money. We're not gonna use our credit cards. So he's like, how come you're so, I'm like, I'm not gonna buy a purse right now. And he'll say, well, I was buying you purses when we're dating. I said, yeah, because that was your bank account, but now it's our joint account.
Yeah, you ain't buying a purse with my money with me, right?
Yes, so yeah.
Now your money is my money and my money is my money.
Yes, exactly.
No, but I was telling Christian, as men, we're hunters. So we're good at going out there and coming up with ways to make money and going out there and making shit happen. But we're horrible at protecting it. This is not in our nature. It's a woman's nature to keep the home and protect the home and play it safe. Well, we need both. We need offense and defense. We need somebody to go out there and make shit happen, and we need somebody to keep us grounded, keep us humble, and not go out there and waste stuff. Because we know, just like anybody else, man, just because it's going good now, it's not always going to go good.
I agree with you.
And so you have to, save for that what we call the winter season.
Exactly.
And looks like you guys have not only been able to work together, but being able to work together and be able to respect each other at the same time.
Yes.
Knowing that you guys have one mission, there's different roles to do, and you work your roles, perfectly, and he trusts you, doesn't question you in your role, and you let him do what he does, and you don't question him in his what he does, and you guys are going to the top as a team.
Yes, and it's the best to work with your husband. I mean, as my partner, he's my partner, my business partner. At the beginning, it was a little challenging because we needed to know what are you doing, what is your strengths, what is your weaknesses, you know. But then when you humble yourself as well, that this is not about the relationship outside of work. What is your real business strengths? This has nothing to do with at home or a relationship. When you respect that and people see it, it's just awesome. You just respect each other.
It's so good to see that. When I see couples working together and are able to maintain the respect at work, also most importantly, maintain the respect at home, and know that those are two different playing fields, two different things, and that's so refreshing to see, because it's not for a lot of people. It's not for a lot of people, and only a few people that I know, like you, the Fonz, are able to pull that up, very, 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 very nicely.
And I think it has to do with who they were before being a couple as well. Because sometimes I see that people say, well, maybe I should have my wife work with me, but she's never worked with, maybe she was always a housewife, or she was in a different field. So you can't push somebody to be in your dream if they don't want to. They could do their own dream. You know what I mean? So it's very careful. You have to be careful. I've seen people that like to work together because they're passionate about the same mission, and sometimes they feel like they're dragged into it, and it doesn't work well.
Now you guys have 4 offices together? 300 agents that work? Is that am I
Not
correct?
yet. 220 agents, but that's our goal.
220 agents and growing. And you guys are very successful. But I know something that I want to talk a lot about is what you started, something called Real Estate in Heels. And gosh, man, I mean, everybody's talking about it. It's the talk of the town here. And you're empowering women, to go out there and make shit happen. And I think it's so much needed these days where, even though, we are in 2019, there are equal rights and equal opportunities and everything else like that, I think a lot of females, a lot of women feel intimidated. They feel like, real estate, and just business in general is a man's game. And even though we have women that are killing it in that space, but a lot of women are intimidated, about going into something like that, and you're empowering them to do so, because not only that you're doing it, but you're also doing it in conjunction with your husband as a team. So tell me a little bit about, how'd you come up with, the name? What a great name, and what are you doing with it? What are your vision with it?
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so passionate about Real Estate in Heels. It's an honor to show my mom all her hard work that she's done. It's to show my daughter what she could do. And I think you nailed it, yes. So when I had my baby, my first baby, which is Alexa, I took 6 months off work. and I was breastfeeding, and then I became the wife. And I was enjoying it for 6 months, just for 6 months.
Yeah, you're like, I can't wait to get out of this thing, man. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So I was breastfeeding, I was doing all that. But I had a hard time just leaving my baby with a sitter.
Yeah.
So at that time, my mom was able to help me out. So all the pieces were coming together. So when I go back to the office, the real estate office, I felt like I was wearing a costume, like a business dress, because I was used to wearing comfortable clothes with my baby, even the business office language and all that stuff. Your confidence. So when people will come in, there's a lot of guys in suits, and they will come in, the vendors, the lenders. And I remember, let's say that Christian had an appointment, and he says, oh, darn it, I'm not going to make it with this appointment. Can you just take care of it? This one I'll never forget. So this was one of our affiliates, and I said, Christian's not going to be able to make it, but we'll have the meeting, you and I. And he's like, oh, no, sweetie, don't worry about it. I'll wait for Christian. Oh, no, he didn't.
You're like, oh, no, so you don't think I'm capable of doing what Christian is doing? Yeah.
You know what? I am proud of myself, because there was a part of me that was mad at that comment. Yeah. And I said, you know what? I need to prove myself.
Yeah.
I need to work on myself.
Yeah.
I need to work on my knowledge, the way I present, the businesswoman, how am I dressing, how am I speaking, am I getting shit done?
Yeah.
to give that. So that's when I said, Christian will have masterminds, and then I realized that there was a lot of more real estate agents that were attracting men. And I said, this is kind of awkward. Who do we talk to? Who do we do? So I started a little mastermind in the office and talking about working, because you're in sales, you're in commissions, and there's people that have issues with babysitting, you know, and also looking good or wearing the heels. And in our business, you can't wear tennis shoes. So it seems like it's more of a trend now that you can wear the flats, the cute flats, right? But that's where real estate in heels, I wanted to do a community of women that want to empower one another. They want to give each other tips on how to be a better woman, best business practices, and still be feminine. Still be feminine, because at that time, I was copying Christian style.
Basically be a boss babe.
There you go.
Or you were copying Christian style, but that you knew that you had your own style.
Did he know?
Of course I did. If you don't know, now you know, right?
Exactly. You know, because that's the struggle as a woman. If you're too tough, or the wording you use, if a man does it, oh, he's badass. But if you're too strong, they're saying, she's a bitch, you know? So I was trying to be too tough, and that's not my normal, natural self. And I said, and I learned, how do you deliver and you say the same things as yourself, as a woman, with your feminine touch? And people mean, if yes means yes, if no means no.
You know, I think that in general, you know, one thing I've learned, you know, and I think, you know, you have as well, you know, I think we talked about this a couple of months ago, is at the end of the day, you're you. You can't change who you are. You can't change your message. And, you know, there's so many times people said, Sam, I love your podcast, but you curse sometimes, and I was like, I can't, I'm not going to change. If I don't do that, man, and, you know, I'm not going to be able to deliver a message. You know, when you guys asked me to speak at your event, and thank you so much, that, you know,
awesome.
Success is Contagious event is so amazing. I already talked to Christian about, you know, what an amazing things you guys do for the community. I don't want to talk too much about it here, you know, but you know, I told you guys, man, I cannot just be me. And I was able to be me, and I was able to deliver a good speech, because if I had to tone it down, you know, I would stutter. You know, I can't, you know, get in front of someone and talk if I'm not me. And I can't be here talking to you if I had to try to pretend to be somebody else. So at the end of the day, man, you got to be you, and be what I call unapologetically you. You know, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. You know, I'm not Tony Robbins, but I'm not Tupac. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm somewhere in between.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm somewhere in between Tony Robbins and Tupac. Some things I can be more Tony Robbins-ish, and that's not I can be more Tupac-ish. But it just depends on what day you catch me. You know what I mean? But most of the time, I'm somewhere in between those two.
And isn't it cool that you could be yourself, and you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, what am I saying? What am I acting? Right? You don't have to take care. You're just being you. And then you're attracting the people that are attracted to your message. So I feel the same way. I said, you know what? If I want to laugh, I'm going to laugh, because I laugh kind of loud sometimes. If I want to shake it, if they want to take it in the wrong way, whatever. It's my happiness, you know?
Well, you know, I always say this, Jeanette, you know, is that Jesus couldn't make everybody happy. Not everybody, you know, said Jesus is good. Jesus is God, or not everybody believes in that. Not everybody likes Jesus or like Jesus. So if he couldn't convince everybody to like him, me and you sure as hell not going to do it, and I'm not going to fucking try. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna fucking try. You know what I mean? And one of my mentors told me a long time ago is that, Sam, if you don't piss somebody off by 12 noon, you're not doing something.
Oh my gosh,
You know what
that's
I mean?
awesome.
So
then.
I always make sure by 12 noon, at least 11:59, I do something to piss somebody off. You know what I mean? So that means I'm doing something. I'm trying.
I love
You
it.
know,
I love it.
and I know that you have evolved to being you.
Yes.
You know, and by being you, you're going to upset some people. When some people are not going to agree with it or like it. You know, and some other people are going to bond with it. And I know that another mentor told me that, Sam, you'd rather 50% of people love you and 50% of people hate you than 100% of people say you're okay.
There you
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So at the end of the day, you want to bond with closer to people who understand you,
Yes.
understand where you're coming from, and understand your journey. And people who don't understand it, then great, but they still tune in. They'll still tune in and watch.
Oh my gosh, it's funny you say that because I'm starting to get some negative comments, which right now they say, yes, you're saying, and it happened before noon, so thank you very much for that.
You made it. You made it.
I made it.
You made it.
And it's funny you say that because I was like, you know what? You're being yourself. If somebody doesn't like it, I mean, that's their issue, and it's their opinion. But the funny thing is that I told Christian, this person is on my friend list, and they never like anything, they never post anything, but they decided.
They never like, they never post, but they watch all your stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when there's an opportunity to be negative, they're right there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's normal?
Oh, it's normal, man. It's very normal, man. Because they're watching, just waiting for that perfect opportunity to attack. Never liked or say a positive comment on anything. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, and you know what, man? Tim says, our pastor says, haters are motivators. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, but know that that's part of success. And I've interviewed, some very, very important and big people, and they say, you know what, this is just part of the process. And if you don't understand that, then you don't have a thick enough skin for that, then you're not ready for the process. You're not ready to go to the top. When you're climbing the ladder of success, guess what? Your ass is exposed.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's what people see.
And you know what? And people, we shouldn't doubt ourselves, because that's a point that you could doubt yourself. Am I putting too much out there? Are you not? But like you said, look at those people, inspirational people that have like millions of followers, right?
Yes.
You're going to focus on the right audience that you're actually empowering and helping out, and then you become a better and stronger person.
So real estate in heels. What are your plans for it? And I know you're empowering a lot of women, and I bet you, just looking at it, I bet you have 3 types of women that are, that are looking into this real estate in heels, right? Yeah. One of them that look at you, they're exactly like you. They're building an empower, with their husband. Yes. They're looking at you and they're taking notes on how are they doing it together? Yeah. What are they doing? And how they're able to work together and be able to respect each other and all that kind of stuff. They're modeling your exact model. Then you're gonna have, it's the single ladies, yes. Who are young and hungry and we're like, all right, so how did Jeanette do it when she was younger, and how she was able to come in and be able to, find the right man.
Yes.
Because obviously
That's
we all need love. We all need somebody to share the journey with and share everything with. How to find the right man, and how to not only find the right man and be able to motivate that man and be able to build an empire together. Yes. And then I would say you probably have, women who are kind of doubting themselves. Maybe they're going through some tough times in life. Maybe they've gone through a divorce or passing of a loved one, and then they have to start over again and all that kind of stuff. How do you deal with each and every one?
Oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful thing, my Real Estate in Heels, and I'm so proud to tell you that I trademarked Real Estate in Heels.
I was going to tell you, if you haven't, you better.
I did it.
Awesome.
I did it.
Awesome.
So I see it as something that organically is growing.
I love the name. I love the name.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So organically is growing, and I see it as a sisterhood of good. This is not about drinking. This is not about networking. This is not to bash the man, like, oh, the girl, you don't need him. Yeah. It's about being better, a better person. And like you said, there's different people that we could be in different stages of our life. Yeah. Maybe someone is happy now, but maybe they're gonna lose someone. And how do you do it? And have that circle of people that they all just wanna have a purpose in life and be better. Yep. So the younger girls, I get so happy to help them out because I was there. Yep. So even at Success is Contagious, a young girl got up and say, how do you do with doubting yourself. And well, I was pretty good at that.
Yeah.
They doubt themselves, and they think it's huge to understand if you're going to have the one, the love of your life. I believe that your husband will empower you or will destroy you.
Absolutely. Likewise. I think it happens, your spouse, they're either going to elevate you or they're going to destroy you. So you have to choose wisely.
You know what I mean? They could tell you you're a piece of this, you're nothing, what are you thinking? Why are you dressed that way? Are you you know what I mean? Are you a stripper or something? Or, so your self-esteem, or they could lift you up. And I think for me is to show, for me it's take responsibility and work on yourself. Yeah. So when you're a better woman, you're going to find a better man. Yeah. Are you in that stage of your life? So it's awesome to help those young girls.
No, it's so funny, man. I wholeheartedly believe that there's two ways that you can try to attract the right person. One, by, what I call, going out there and seeking it, which means, going out there and looking for it, and when you go look for it, sometimes you don't get the right person. Mm-hmm. It's kind of desperate, right? Mm-hmm. Or you can just become the best version of yourself. And when you become the best version of yourself, you automatically attract the right person, the right vibration, and things like that. It's 100%. Funny because when I got divorced, I was in a hotel room, Hotel Chino Hills. Oh, wow. There was like, I stayed there for like 4 months. And I didn't tell nobody knew that. Even my business partners didn't know that. I was too embarrassed to talk about it.
Wow.
I nobody, because I didn't want to talk about it until everything was finalized and, things like that.
So no one knew that you were getting divorced?
Nobody knew, for a long time, because I didn't want to talk, if there's that slight chance that anything can happen, I just don't want that. Mm-hmm. So I remember, even seeing the fonts one time at Denny's, and I walked down the stairs to Denny's to get breakfast. Like, oh, what are you doing here? I'm like, well, I'm kind of live right there, but I didn't want to tell them that. I was just, stop by and have breakfast too. You know what I mean? It's very important, man, to concentrate on becoming the best version of yourself. Mm-hmm. When I got divorced, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to concentrate on business, and I'm going to concentrate on me. Mm-hmm. So I started hitting the gym again. I started just reading books again, concentrating on business. That's how I was able to scale the business, the way it is. That's how the camp was able to blow up. And then out of nowhere, I met Crystal. And I wasn't even looking for it. I wasn't even going out there. It was just like, wow. It just, you attract the right person. And I wholeheartedly believe in that, what you just said.
Because you were ready. Yeah. And it's a full circle, right?
Yes.
For your business and for your life and who you are as a person. Yes. You find the one because you were ready for it.
Yes. All right. So what right now, it just motivates you to get out of bed early and motivates you to, to stay up late at night? And what do you have plans here? You're doing you're doing everything from what I see, just beautifully executed, beautiful marriage, beautiful children, successful business together with your husband, successful business without your husband. You know what I mean? Yes. So you're independent, but yet together, you guys are, come bring it together. What's next for you? What kind of legacy do you want to leave for your children? Like I said, what keeps you up late at night?
Oh my gosh, I have so much passion, so much of doing stuff, right? So like I was telling you that what's enough, And for me is I just want to work on myself. I want to show like in my body. I used to think that working on your body was kind of like superficial. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of look good, so I mean, it's okay. My body, my spirit. Just how I feel with my kids. When I get into the door, which I actually checked myself. I think it was like 2-3 years ago that my daughter says, "Mom, why do you look so stressed?" I was like, "Oh no, she didn't say that."
Yeah, she felt it.
She felt it. I'm telling you about body language. Yeah. And I said, no, because for me, my family's first. Yeah. You know, and it's like, that's when I realized, what in the world am I doing that is worth my daughter to feel that I don't want to
feel stressed.
Yeah, like the frustration. So then what I do is I shake it off in the car and I go into, you know what I mean? It's showtime now with the kids. Yep. For me, I just want them to know what their grandparents have done from Christian side, from my side, to be here and take it to the next level, Sam. Yeah. Honestly, for me, I am very ambitious. Yeah. And my real estate in heels, I wanted to continue to grow. I see this going nationwide. Besides other businesses that we do, I like empowering women. That's my thing. It comes organically. And I think my kids are going to be the next, super, super, super well off. I want them to know how to take care of their money, how to think of retirement, and show it to the next generations. To know that my kids believe that they could purchase their own plane. For me, it's just like, wow, So I think it's my duty to pump them up and to think that at the next level of things, what's coming, it will be better than what they see now.
Love it, love it. So there you have it. Jeanette Fuentes came here when she was 11 years old. Parents were entrepreneurs in Mexico. They had regular jobs, but always had a side hustle.
Yes.
They came to the United States. They started hustling. Within a couple of years, they had 2 trucks. Within a couple of years, they bought their first home in Chino Hills.
Yes.
But after 24 years of marriage, they got divorced, right? And now, you kind of put your career on hold.
Yes.
When that happens, help your mom in a restaurant.
Yes.
You at a time started disbelieving yourself. You started questioning God, questioning faith, But little did you know that restaurant introduced you to your husband now. When you question the faith, when you think like, why am I in this position? You don't know why God put you in that position.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? A lot of times when things happen to you, you think that, oh, why God, why me? But yet God has a bigger plan that you had for yourself. And you now, when you look back, you see God had planned all that for you, because if you weren't in that position, if you're a reporter, you wouldn't be in this position now, helping, thousands and thousands and eventually millions of women, empower themselves, building, meeting the man of your life, having beautiful children that you have now. You wouldn't be in this position right now, but you've done so much. I'm looking forward to seeing your progress, but I just have one question left.
Tell me.
Can you still dance though?
Oh, hell yes, I can.
Can you dance? I want to see this. You know what? I got the perfect music.
Really?
Yeah, I got the perfect music.
Are you gonna put some rapping music for me here?
Let me see. Let me see if I have the perfect music for you, because I want to see your dance move, Jeanette.
That's my stress relief.
Okay, it is?
Yeah.
See, mine is the gym.
Right?
So let me see if I got some. Let me see this. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Can you dance to this?
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna be like this. You know what? I got money. That's all I got. I got money. I got money. Here we go.
Oh my God.
Here we go. Here we go.
J-Lo. I love J-Lo.